1,000 years ago, the world was a canvas of change, painted by the retreat of colossal glaciers. The Great Ice Age was breathing its last, and a new dawn for humanity was breaking. For our ancestors, this was not just a shift in climate, it was a complete reshaping of their existence. Imagine a world waking from a long, frozen slumber. The air is crisp, the landscapes are transforming, and survival means adapting or vanishing. This is the story of how we, as a species, not only survived but began to thrive against all odds. Before this great thaw, humanity lived on the move. Our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, masters of the wilderness. Their lives were an intricate dance with nature, following the herds of mammoth, bison, and deer. They knew the secrets of the land, which plants were medicine and which berries were poison. Their diet was rich and varied, a true paleo feast of wild game, fish, nuts, and seasonal fruits. Every day was a hunt, a search, a testament to their deep connection with the earth. Their tools, though simple by our standards, were marvels of ingenuity: sharp flint spearheads and bone needles, each crafted for a specific purpose, each a key to survival. But as the ice receded, the world they knew began to disappear. The vast, open tundras that supported megafauna gave way to dense forests and sprawling grasslands. The mammoths vanished, and the great herds dwindled. This environmental shift posed a monumental challenge. The old ways of life were no longer enough. Humanity stood at a crossroads, facing a choice: adapt or perish. It was in this crucible of change that the greatest revolution in human history began to stir. Across the globe, small bands of people started to experiment. Instead of just gathering wild grains, they began to plant them. In the Fertile Crescent of the Middle East, they cultivated wheat and barley. In Asia, rice paddies emerged. In the Americas, maize, beans, and squash became the staples of life. This was the birth of agriculture, a revolutionary act that would chain humanity to the land, but also provide a stable source of food for the first time. The nomadic hunter was slowly becoming the settled farmer. With farming came the first permanent settlements. People no longer had to follow the herds. They could build homes to last huts made of mud, wood, and stone. Small hamlets grew into villages, clustered around fertile fields and clean water sources. For the first time, a sense of place, of home, began to take root in the human soul. This newfound stability allowed for something extraordinary: the growth of communities. Neighbors worked together, sharing the burdens of planting and harvesting, and defending their homes from predators and rivals. Life in these early villages was a complex tapestry of cooperation and innovation. The domestication of animals was another game changer. Wild wolves were tamed, becoming loyal dogs that helped in hunting and guarding settlements. Wild goats, sheep, and cattle were brought into the fold, providing a steady supply of milk, meat, and hides. Oxen were harnessed to pull rudimentary plows, turning the tough soil and making farming more efficient. This partnership between humans and animals was a powerful alliance that propelled societies forward. As communities grew, so did the need for organization and communication. Early social structures began to form. Leaders or elders emerged, guiding their people. resolving disputes, and preserving the traditions of the tribe. Trade networks started to connect distant villages, valuable materials like obsidian for tools, or beautiful shells for adornment traveled hundreds of miles, passed from hand to hand. This was the beginning of a global network, a faint echo of the interconnected world we live in today. But this new world was not a utopia. Life was still incredibly hard. Famine was a constant threat if crops failed. Disease could sweep through a densely populated village with terrifying speed. The weather remained an unpredictable master, capable of bringing floods or droughts, and the daily struggle for survival was relentless. Yet, in the face of these hardships, the human spirit found ways to express itself, to find meaning beyond mere existence. Inside caves and on rock shelters, our ancestors left their mark. They painted stunning images of the animals they hunted and revered: bison, horses, and deer, brought to life with pigments made from earth and charcoal. These were more than just pictures. They were expressions of their spiritual beliefs. Stories told in the flickering firelight, a sacred connection to the spirit world. They created rituals and buried their dead with care, suggesting a belief in an afterlife, a sense of a journey beyond. The visible world, this period, known as the Neolithic Revolution, was the cradle of our civilization. The shift from foraging to farming laid the groundwork for everything that followed. It allowed for population growth, the specialization of labor, with some becoming potters, weavers, or priests, and the accumulation of knowledge passed down through generations. The first seeds of writing began to sprout from simple tally marks used to track harvests and trade. The foundation for cities, empires, and the entire recorded history of humanity was being laid. One stone, one seed, one story at a time. When we look back 10,000 years, we see more than just primitive survival. We see the ingenuity, resilience, and creativity that define us as a species. We see our ancestors looking up at the same stars, feeling the same sun on their skin, and wrestling with the fundamental questions of life, community, and purpose. They were the pioneers who took the monumental leap from a life of wandering to a life of settlement, paving the way for the world we inhabit today. Their legacy is written in our DNA, in the crops we eat, and in the very foundations of our society. This is how humanity began 10,000 years before our time. Subscribe to Create with AI for more history reborn.